Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Good to have you join us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. The Federal Executive Council this Wednesday received and approved some memoranda aimed at improving the services of the Nigerian customs. And the nation's economy is not in any trouble concerning its rising debt profile, which is still within the sustainable level, says the finance minister. Now, our correspondent Jide Onifade, we shall join him later as he brings us details of this meeting this Wednesday. Members of the Federal Executive Council, led by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, this Wednesday held a minute's silence in honor of late Mahmoud Tukur. Mahmoud Tukur was a politician and a former Minister for Commerce and Industry during the military administration of General Muhammadu Buhari. He was also the first Vice-Chancellor of Bayero University, Kano. President Muhammadu Buhari, in his tribute, said the late Tukur, during his time as minister, introduced a lot of schemes that revived the local industry, boosted exports, and gave real meaning and effect to import substitution in regenerating the indigenous manufacturing sector of the economy. Late Mahmoud Tukur died on the 9th of April 2021, and members of the council, some of whom joined virtually, opened the meeting with a prayer for the repose of the deceased soul. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested former governor of Imo State and senator representing Imo West Senatorial District, Rocha Sokorocha. The senator was picked up on Tuesday evening in his private office at the Unity House, Abuja, and taken to the EFCC headquarters for interrogation over alleged money laundering. The spokesman of the commission, Wilson Ujaren, confirmed the arrest to NTA News, but declined to give further information on the grounds that the former governor is still being interrogated. Meanwhile, in a statement, the senator, through his spokesman, Sam Onwemedo, disclosed that he was not arrested. He only honored an invitation by the commission, which is investigating his activities as a former governor of Imo State. The various reforms being undertaken in the Nigerian armed forces by the Buhari administration are responsible for the successes in combating the plethora of extant and emerging threats to national security. Commander Infantry Corps Center Jaji, Major General Ososage Idou Uzamere stated this at the commencement of Defense and Security Symposium for students of Senior Course 43 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachukun reports.
As a reinforcement to the federal government's initiatives and the Nigerian security architecture, members of Senior Course 43 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, converged for Defense and Security Symposium.
On the need for interoperability.
This symposium, like the previous engagements made by the Nigerian Armed Forces, is expected to stimulate new ideas that will enhance the current effort in combating threats to national defense and security.
Obviously, the theme is a reflection of the ongoing transformation efforts in the armed forces of Nigeria and the federal government's reforms being undertaken in a wider security sector.
Conversations among the tri-service senior officers, including foreign students and paramilitary, also focus on standardization of equipment in the armed forces of Nigeria. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachukun, NTA News.
Ebonyi State government has procured 100 motorcycles to the Nigerian army to help stem the tide of hostility in the war-ravaged Effium community in Ohaoko local government area of the state. Chika Okorie reports that the Deputy Governor, Dr. Eric Kelechi Igwe, handed over the items to them in Abakaliki. The report.
From the onset of the crisis in Effium and Iza Effium community in Ohuhu Council area of Ebonyi State, both the federal and state governments have been in constant synergy working towards reconciling the warring factions. The latest in the resolution efforts is the deployment of 100 motorcycles to help the military to patrol the community, especially hard-to-reach areas, to ensure that lives and property are safeguarded from attacks. Representative of of the state deputy governor, who also assured the people of adequate security, reminded them of their roles in getting important and sensitive information across to security agencies promptly so as to bust criminal plans before they are perpetrated.
The government is very prepared to match force with force on those hoodlums. And that is why the governor had to go extra mile for up to 300 and above soldiers to be deployed in the state. It's not only in Nigeria and Nigeria, we're also taking care of other areas.
The operational tools, which were received by the commanding officer to Special Women Operation Battalion Abakaliki 82 Division, Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Maika, were immediately transported to Effium community to facilitate operations. In Abakaliki, Chika Okore, NTA News.
15 people have been killed in a clash between Waja and Longuda tribes, both of Balanga local government area of Gombe State. Emmanuel Akila reports that the situation has been brought under control.
Unpleasant sights of arson of houses, storage facilities and all kinds of property in Nuar and Jesu villages in Balanga South in the wake of the clash that erupted on Monday night between the Waja and Longuda ethnic groups who have been living in the mountainous area in peace for over a century. Johanna Estefanos received Governor Mahmoud Inoy Yahaya on assessment tour of the affected areas.
So what happened last night, we were just totally surprised. We just saw people rushing everywhere with the torchlights, advancing here.
He attributes the ugly incident to transfer of aggression from a previous conflict among the ethnic groups in a border town of Adamawa State. Governor Inoy Yahaya led heads of security agencies to the areas. He described the destruction of lives and property as unnecessary among such groups who have been friends for long.
I already directed the Commissioner for Internal Security to liaise with the Commissioner Special Duties to bring palliatives in form of food, in form of materials, and in form of clothing.
With the help of the other security agencies, the people have been fortified enough security men now, at least to ensure that there is peace, we return the peace to the place.
Some of the immediate measures of containment include imposition of curfew in the areas, dispatch of relief materials, and investigations to prevent reprisals. Waja and Longuda tribes are found in the borders of Adamawa and Gombe states, and the people, who are predominantly farmers, share similar cultural values. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Following rising cases of attacks on security personnel and infrastructure in some parts of the country, key stakeholders are of the strong view that application of strategies on use in the advanced societies and synergy between the public and security operatives are key in taming the danger such a challenge poses.
To some states in the southeastern part of the country, last few weeks came with spring of threat and even attacks on security personnel and infrastructure, causing monumental damage and even deaths of military and paramilitary agents. In the wake of the lingering disaster, criminals serving various jail terms were freed by miscreants in Owerri Correctional Service Facility and allowed to reintegrate into the society they once terrorized.
Somalia is about the only country that has one language, one tribe, or majority are Muslim, 99.5% Muslims before the breakup. Where is Somalia today? An ungoverned space. So every country that are developed based on diversity of the people there, diversity of ideas and whatever, and that is a major plus for Nigeria.
These thrilling factors, stakeholders say, requires multi-dimensional approach by all and sundry to ensure lives of security agents and their working equipment are secured for greater security of the Nigerian states.
When people come together to attack these men and women in uniform, attack and diminish their infrastructure and facilities, oftentimes the policemen, the soldiers, the correction officers are not just the end. They are a means to an end.
Trying to create independent security architecture different from the police. By the time you now disregard the hegemony of the police institution over and above any other security arrangement, you are dampening the morale and the zeal of the police personnel for them to give you the maximum productivity value.
In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Let's now join Michael from Lagos in our Lagos studio on reports making the rounds from that zone. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Lydia. The incessant attacks on security infrastructure and personnel during civil unrest in Lagos State have been identified as inimical to national development. To stem the trend, security experts and public affairs analysts are calling for proactive intelligence gathering mechanism to arrest insecurity in the state. Kenya DBC reports.
Insecurity in Nigeria is a cankerworm that has eaten deep into the fabric of the nation, and Lagos has had its fair share. As Nigeria's commercial nerve center, Lagos contributes approximately 30% of Nigeria's gross domestic product, GDP, and hosts the country's over 50% of non-oil industrial capacity. The state therefore becomes an attraction to people from other states and within the sub-region. The siege on the city by unemployed youth is illustrated by violent tendencies that occurs daily. Lagos residents have been victims of robberies which sometimes happen in broad daylight. Organized criminal gangs take over the streets. People no longer feel safe.
The country needs to address youth unemployment, the curricular at school, the value system, and our leaders must begin to show examples.
The police must give us confidence that we can rely on them, that they can protect us. Number two, National Orientation Agency should reorient the people.
Drawing from the fallout of the NSAS protests in Lekki Tollgate, in which state and federal government establishments were affected, security experts suggest that surveillance, intelligence gathering, some of the sophisticated method that law enforcement authorities can deploy in tackling insecurity.
The police, they must come together, and the community themselves, they must build a catchment of their youths and adults, especially those that have pedigree in security, to be able to communicate the insecurity situation of every community.
It is the expectation of Lagos residents, with concerted and deliberate action by government and Nigerians in tackling insecurity, the incidents of irregular attacks on government infrastructure will be a thing of the past. In Lagos, Kende Adebisi, NTA News.
The ecological intervention of the federal government in Bariga Local Council Development Area of Lagos is nearing completion, and the wind breezing around the community is that of assurance that regardless of the intensity of the rains, their property and lives are secured. The rains have started to gather momentum, and this is the time of the year in which the atmosphere in Bariga is usually tensed. Fear and apprehension about the possibility of flooding most times overshadow the beauty of this community by the lagoon. With the 4 kilometers ecological intervention project of the federal government still underway, I decided to check for an update. To my surprise, the once contaminated sewage and gully roads have disappeared, and in their place are well-laid drainage and road awaiting asphalt laying.
Areas that have been neglected over the years are now being taken care of. If you go to all the areas of Bariga, you will be surprised.
There have not been heavy rain, and which we know that if there's a heavy rain, there will be a list of what we have been expressing the past years.
The project, which is about 95% completed, will be delivered by the end of April. But the contractor handling the project wants residents in extremely low land areas to raise the base of their structures to be at par with the drainage.
We are trying to discharge water into the lagoon. The our collections must be higher than the lagoon. Between the buildings, the foundations to the drainage structures, they need to do a little filling so that when they collected the runoff from the houses, it can safely discharge into the park.
Williams, a trader, is already visualizing the gains the project will bring to the community when completed. But his greatest worry is the attendant effect on standard of living.
The landlords and the landladies around here will virtually use the advantage of the road to kill us with the house rent.
With the milestone achieved in the space of 10 weeks, there is high optimism within the 7 communities in Bariga that the project will be delivered as specified. Time now for some messages, and the news continues with Lydia shortly after this break.
Recently, both the president and vice president demonstrated leadership by being among the first Nigerians to have the AstraZeneca vaccine administered to them on live TV for all in the country to see. Subsequently, many federal ministers, political leaders, and members of the Presidential COVID-19 Task Force have publicly taken the vaccine to follow in the footsteps of President Buhari and Vice President Oshibaja. To obtain it yourself, please go to the NPHCDA website. There is a link to click on in order to register and schedule your vaccination. In the meantime, please continue to wear face masks, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and observe social distancing. This message was brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College short proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 19th April to 30th April 2021. 2 weeks. Audio Engineering, Operations and Maintenance. Date 19th April to 23rd April 2021. 1 week. Protocol, Event Management and Public Relations. Date 3rd May to 14th May 2021. 2 weeks. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 17th May to 11th June 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 80,000 naira, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be.
Thanks for staying with us. As the season of Ramadan begins, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo wants Nigerians to see it as not only a time of abstinence from food and worldly pleasures, but also a time to rededicate oneself to higher virtues of kindness, love, and generosity towards others, regardless of faith and ethnicity. The Vice President, who after presiding over the Federal Executive Council meeting spoke to State House correspondent Jide Onifade, extending greetings to Muslim faithful.
So for our nation, a time, I believe, to recommit ourselves to unity, to brotherhood, to peace and reconciliation in various ways, so that our country will achieve all of the objectives that we've set for ourselves. So I wish our Muslim brothers and sisters a very happy period of Ramadan Kareem.
Prices of food items appear to always rise during Ramadan fast. This is, however, against the teaching of piety, fairness, and humane disposition of Islam. Asabe Tanimu Williams takes a look at these prices as they affect the common man.
Yes, the Ramadan period usually witness increased purchase of consumables, mostly used during the period, and this development often comes with its negative effects of hike in prices, which Islamic clerics say is not only ungodly, but insensitive.
Quran says, that is Quran chapter 83, verses 1 to 3. It says, curse of God be upon those who used to reduce what they sell.
They want to get goods from the producer, they get it complete, full, in their full bucket. So when they are to sell it back, they reduce the scale, they rebag rice. It is completely inhuman, un-Islamic.
A visit to some markets in the nation's capital to ascertain the prices of some of these items reveal a slight increase in the price.
Got the bag of flour where you used to buy 11,000, 12,000, now it's almost 15,000 naira a bag.
Electricity tariff has gone up, the foreign exchange rates, the dollar to naira has gone up, and all these parameters affect the price of food. And
the clerics, however, advise both farmers and marketers to fear Allah, to desist from such acts and use the period to be generous, urging them to sell commodities at the affordable rates, avoiding selfish gains, which might deprive them of Allah's blessings. Asabetanimu Williams, NTA News.
And to another aspect of Ramadan, talking about tafsir. How important, or better still, what's its essence in the holy month? Let's now join our correspondent, Abdullahi Ajia, who is at Nasfat Mosque, Utaku, Abuja. Let's hear more from him.
Thank you, Studio Ramadan Karim. Well, tafsir has remained one important aspect of the Islamic religion, mostly done in the month of Ramadan. And according to scholars, this tafsir has remained one thing that has brought Muslims to the understanding of what the religion of Islam is. And in the interpretation of scholars, tafsir is very important because it explains what Allah has said in the Quran and hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And here at the Nasfat Jumat Mosque here in Abuja, it is one center that tafsir is usually done every Ramadan. And I must tell you that Nasfat commenced a tafsir yesterday from the 1st of Ramadan. And today here, the scholar is here, and also worshippers who also come here to benefit from the words of Allah are always here. And today is not different from what we are seeing around us here. And I must tell you also, tafsir is very important because it interprets and also explains what Muslims are supposed to do. That is to say, the commandments of Allah, the do's and don'ts, and also guiding them to do what is expected of them in this month of Ramadan. But I shall be, joining the chief imam of Nasfat Abuja here, whom will be telling us more on the significance of the tafsir as far as Ramadan is concerned, which the Nasfat Mosque is also not out, of place doing it. Imam Sharafuddin Aliagon, Ramadan Karim. Okay, can you underscore the significance of tafsir that you are anchoring here at Nasfat?
والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول العالمين سيدنا نبينا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. As regards our daily tafsir here, first of all, the tafsir has been going on here every year during the Ramadan for about 10 years now, I must tell you. And how we observe our tafsir here is mostly in the evening. And the major significance of tafsir, as I lead the tafsir, like you said, is number one, the Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan. So Ramadan, Al-Quran is to be celebrated in the month of Ramadan. One of the celebrations that we give Al-Quran during the month of Ramadan is to give the meaning that we call the tafsir of Al-Quran. So here we observe the tafsir, and what exactly do we do in the tafsir that amounts to the significance of tafsir is number one, we recite Al-Quran the way it is as the Arabic text, then we now give infirm meaning to the words of Al-Quran Al-Karim that is known as the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are three major tafsir, if I may say. Number one is tafsir al-Quran bil-Quran. You give explanation of Al-Quran with another portion of Al-Quran. That is the best tafsir you can give all over the world. When you are giving explanation of a particular ayah of the Holy Quran, you think and look for other ayah that explain it better or explain it in the same way of the same ayah verse of the Holy Quran you are trying to give explanation of. That is the first type of tafsir. The second tafsir is tafsir al-Quran bil ahadith al-Nabawi.
that you use the hadith of the Holy Quran to explain the Quranic verses that you are during the tafsir. And the third one is the general tafsir of your proper understanding of the Arabic language. All right, thank you, Imam, for sharing your thought with us, and I think that is the most time will permit us to hear from you. But that's not all. We want to hear also from a worshipper whom is always here also to listen to the Imam interpreting the glorious Quran and the Hadith of the Prophet. I'm joined with, by a worshipper here whom will be telling us also in brief what he understands by the tafsir that goes on here year in, year out, and today you are here to benefit. Can you tell us in brief?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, tafsir is talking about the details and the explanation of the Quran and the Hadith of the Prophet Muhammad. Our Imam, our chief Imam here started this tafsir yesterday. He praised Allah for saving us from the COVID-19, for us to stay alive to this moment, and he also eulogized the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He prayed for all departed souls, especially our great scholars and those who are still alive. He prayed for them yesterday. After that, the Imam continued from where he stopped the upper last year tafsir, which is Quran 3 verse 59, where the Imam was talking about the similitude between the Prophet, similitude, the creation, the likeness, and the creation between Prophet Adam and Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, for us to know that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Prophet Adam and Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, there was a similitude between them. So that is where the Imam started yesterday, Quran 3 verse 59. And alhamdulillah, many Muslims came around yesterday.
All right. Thank you very much. I must say, well, in essence, it means it is a beneficial and a win-win situation for all those that have all come here to learn from the Quran and the Hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And in addition, before we go, I also learned that there are principles for those whom will be allowed to do tafsir, because it is not an all-comers affair, because you must be knowledgeable and also intelligent to be able to interpret the glorious Quran and also the Hadith of the Prophet. And I say this is very important for Muslims. We all still have other days in the Ramadan to come here to also benefit, and also other places that the tafsir will be going on to make us better Muslims and also better citizens of Nigeria. I think back to the studio for now.
Thank you very much, Abdullah Ajia, on that education on essence of tafsir in Ramadan. Thank you indeed, Ramadan Kareem. Senate has confirmed the nomination of Halilu Ahmed Shaba for appointment as Director General of the National Space Research and Development Agency. The confirmation followed the consideration of the screening report of the Senate Committee on Science and Technology, which recommended that the nominee be confirmed having possessed the not needed experience and qualities for the position. NASDA was established on the 1st of August 2001 with the primary objective of developing a fundamental policy for the development of space science and technology in Nigeria. Jos is next, and Zirat will be guiding us on Nationwide. Over to you.
Lydia, good evening and welcome to Jos. To ensure equal opportunity for all Nigerians, the National Social Investment Program is collaborating with the Plateau State Disability Commission to train some physically challenged persons towards eradicating poverty. Indeyang and Abuja reports on the entrepreneurial training.
And physically challenged has overcome the challenge and is today an employer of labor and a master trainer. He's now empowering others with skills and helping them develop sustainable business plans.
I started like this, but today I can boast of a factory.
NSIP Plateau State synergizing with Gospel Financier International and Plateau State Disability Rights Commission to facilitate the training of these physically challenged persons.
What is required is for us to have an equal space where every citizen of Nigeria will benefit from any intervention.
We have a responsibility to partner with anybody who is willing to add value to this special category of persons.
We are training 33 of them.
in order to make them entrepreneurs.
Access to market, business mentoring, and skills acquisition are central to the training received by the beneficiaries.
Learning new things that we've never come across, and it's really impactful.
I'm counting this as an opportunity which has come my way to learn something that could change my economic status.
Some of the beneficiaries who excel will be empowered in starter packs to ensure sustainability of the training. In Jos, Indenyan, and the Abuja, NTA News.
While the care and treatment needed by HIV patients are provided by government at no cost, the same cannot be said of patients with kidney disease in Nigeria. With the passage of the Renal Care Bill into law, the narrative of patients with kidney disease in the country is expected to change. This came to the fore at the 92nd University of Jos inaugural lecture on HIV and kidney disease. Sadat Mohammed Kafa reports.
The annual inaugural lecture titled Double Jeopardy, The Fate of the Filter in the Era of HIV Pandemic was delivered by Professor Oche Agbaji, a professor of nephrology and HIV medicine in the university. In his presentation, he notes that HIV patients are at risk of developing kidney disease, as some HIV medicines are found to be toxic to the kidney.
I see a lot of patients who have HIV and kidney disease. And I find out that most of the patients that have HIV, all their needs are met. But once they develop kidney disease, and the kidney disease is caused by the HIV, the drugs that they use to treat HIV that cause kidney disease, let them change it.
I'm happy that our colleagues are professing their disciplines to the entire community and humanity.
There were words of appreciation to the university management for support towards making the university one of the best citadel of learning in the country. In Jos, Saadat Muhammad Kafa, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. So we'll take a break now, and Nationwide will continue with Mina in Enugu.
Wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher yo mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher yo mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ.
The premiere of the new season of The Village Headmaster, initially scheduled for the second quarter of 2021, has now been postponed till further notice. We apologize for this short notice and promise to keep our viewers and advertisers informed as soon as we have a new date.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. We are trying, shall.
Infrastructural development in rural communities and estates. The Commissioner for Rural Development made the statement during the inauguration of a water scheme in Achi Oji River local government area of the state. Chika Ugu reports.
Is due to lack of portable water supply, the people of Umulalibo had to take the bull by the horn by providing borehole water at the town hall for residents of the community. Commissioning the projects, the Commissioner for Rural Development, represented by the Director of Rural Development, assured the community of the state government's commitment to ensuring development in rural areas.
I hereby commission this edifice.
The projects worth about 5 million naira, which were born out of the community's sweat and natural resources, has alleviated the people's suffering.
People have been going inside the bush, searching for water, So we consider it that we must embark on this project.
The people want government to complement their efforts by providing them good roads, schools and hospitals, since they are blessed with land.
If we use it well, even our children's children, they are still going to benefit.
The people of Igbo are optimistic that this project, if well utilized, will improve their standard of living. In Enugu, Chika, NTA News.
For funding and non-implementation of education. We apologize for the challenges at Enugu end. We hope to rejoin them when signals improve. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, said some tertiary institutions are allegedly using admission without recourse to its Central Admissions Processing System, CAPS. JAMB's head of public affairs, Fabian Benjamin, who stated this in a statement, warned that admissions not approved on its CAPS are null and void, while noting that the attention of the board has been drawn to the illegitimate admissions purportedly being conducted by some universities, including the University of Abuja. The board says the admissions are illegal, unacceptable, and offensive to extant rules and regulations guiding admissions to tertiary institutions in Nigeria. The board, however, warns applicants against paying acceptance fee for admissions done outside CAPS. It would be recalled that the board instituted CAPS in 2017 as an automated platform designed to ensure that admissions are transparently done to protect the interests of all Nigerians desirous of tertiary education. Despite government gesture in boosting crop cultivation for food sufficiency, some farmers in Akwa Ibom State are like Oliver Twist, still canvassing for more government support as the rainy season begins. Utibe Achibong, who visited the farmers in their farmlands, reports that this category of farmers are looking up farm inputs since they did not benefit from the last distribution from government.
Drive round some farmlands within Uyo metropolis shows that farming activities have been reactivated. These farmers, however, appeal to the state government to organize empowerment programs for them, emphasizing that the real farmers will enjoy the benefits.
Government, if it give me something, even fertilize herself, but I need a loan.
It really helped a lot because we won't be buying much from the market and all of that.
Appeal to the government to help me financially to be able to expand this my agric project.
Be able to know what to do for us, so that also this thing also beneficial to us.
Government should help us.
The government, if they are to give any help to the farmers, they should make this they should pass it through the village council.
If the appeal of the farmers are considered, they are sure that planting season will be smooth and bountiful harvest anticipated. In Uyo, Utube Achibong, NTA News.
Information disorder, otherwise known as fake news, is a global phenomenon, and the Nigerian government is worried over the consequences on its policies and programs. To further contain the trend, the National Orientation Agency and partners are building the capacity of staff at 36 national and grassroots levels. Kenneth Nanim reports.
The emergence of social media platforms no doubt escalated easy accessibility of information, thereby giving unscrupulous persons opportunity to disseminate misleading and unverifiable information. These fake news, as it were, conflict with genuine and credible information on government policies and programs, such as various conspiracy theories surrounding the COVID-19 vaccines, which government at all levels are still grappling with. To contain the trend, government had come up with corresponding messages for reorientation of the public against fake news. Hence, this training.
This will enable them to independently confirm information in their possession before sharing them or otherwise debunk them, disbelieve, disregard, and discard them.
It's important that we do it correctly. To understand those terms correctly is because we need solutions. When it is not right, or half-truth, not completely true, or does not even exist, then it is fake news.
Emphasis was also on the need for social media users to visit globally accredited information verification sites to verify every information at their disposal before sharing.
It is expected at the end of this two-day workshop, participants have been trained with the skills and knowledge of how best to identify fake news and deal with it appropriately to ensure that only verifiable and credible information is disseminated to the general public. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Now to matters concerning health. Eliminating delays in accessing healthcare and obtaining vital information from the media are crucial steps towards reducing high mortality rate in Nigeria. This is the position of health experts as the Federal Ministry of Health launches an operational plan to improve access to healthcare. Oluseyi Adiagbo reports.
Nigeria Demographic and Health Survey 2018 shows maternal mortality rate is 512 per 100,000 live births. Meanwhile, neonatal mortality rate is 39 per 1,000 live births, just as under 5 mortality rate is 132 per 1,000 live births, which translates to 1 in every 8 children dying under the age 5. Although the Nigeria 2019 Verbal and Social Autopsy Study indicates relative decline in the statistics in recent times, key players in the healthcare sector still frown at the mortality rate.
Indices are still not falling. A lot of resources go into it. And therefore, the need for partnership, optimizing resources is very, very critical.
The Federal Ministry of Health is committed to further reducing the statistics as this launch of the Nigeria Reproductive, Maternal, Newborn, Child, Adolescent and Elderly Health Plus Nutrition Multi-Stakeholder Partnership Coordination Platform Operational Plan 2021.
They slow down recovery from illness. They contribute to preventable morbidity and mortality, especially among women again and children and the elderly.
We have rallied around you today. We are here. Let us continue to dialogue.
Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Developing a communication work plan aimed at using the media to raise the level of routine immunization and post-polio-free certification in Nigeria is the focus of a 3-day media dialogue ongoing in Yola, Adamawa State. Uche Ugochukwu reports that the workshop is organized by the Child Rights Information Bureau, CRIB, and UNICEF.
Nigeria's past intervention led to reduction in vaccine-preventable diseases and deaths, especially in children, owning how the polio-free certification in 2020. Findings now show there is complacency in those efforts as low routine immunization of children under 15 months is on the increase, coupled with resistance to COVID-19 vaccine.
Success recorded is still fragile because immunization coverage is still low, and this is a fact.
Experts are of the view that increased awareness on routine immunization and post-polio-free certification should not be compromised.
We want to ensure that we sustain RI coverage. Okay, I want to also ensure that there is good surveillance.
the need to leverage on the media to promote messages on both prevention of COVID-19 pandemic and increase of the vaccination for under 5 children.
George and Gloria are health correspondents who, like others in this hall, are here to be equipped with skills to address disinformation, misinformation, and rumors about vaccination and routine immunization.
It will even enable me to educate myself more on why awareness on routine immunization is important.
I'll use all my social media handles, I'll use my radio station, I'll use my website and every instrument available to me to propagate this information.
Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states are focal points of this project. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Sokoto State Government sets up Ramadan feeding program. Sadia is standing by with details in our Sokoto studio. Hello, Sadia.
Sokoto State Government is to spend more than 600 million naira on this year's Ramadan feeding program. Secretary to the state government, Saidu Umar, said that this are the flag-off of distribution of grains for the Ramadan feeding program. Sheikh Muhammad Detti has the report.
The Ramadan feeding program is an initiative of Sokoto State Government aimed at putting smiles on the faces of the less privileged in the society. The foodstuffs are provided to prepare breakfast and be given free to the needy throughout the months of Ramadan. This time around, 170 Ramadan feeding centers have been created by the government across Sokoto metropolis. Secretary to the state government, Saidu Umar, said measures have been put in place to check the diversion of the food items.
And we have mobilized all our ulama to sensitize people, to show them the benefit of giving, that they too they should give, not that they should wait for government to give. But what government has given out should not be diverted. So we are doing a purely religious exercise and a purely community-based exercise.
The membership of the State Ramadan Feeding Committee is drawn from various government agencies. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
Now, in a bid to enlighten the public on the menace of gender-based violence and measures to be taken, the Mariam Mero Amin Waziri Tambua Legacy Initiative has taken its sensitization campaign to Government Girls College Sokoto with the slogan, "A Written Journey in Healing Gender-Based Violence Among Young Girls." Dalata Abdullahi completes the report.
The sensitization campaign brought together students of Raba, Bodinga, and Government Girls College Sokoto. Executive Director, Muat Legacy Initiative, Dr. Balbasatu Ibrahim, was emphatic that the sensitization is aimed at inculcating into the minds of younger ones, communicating habits through writing to the concerned body on issues of gender-based violence. Each of the participants received a diary in which the campaign can be effected according to the slogan, "Healing Gender Violence in Younger Girls."
Lack of speaking out on the part of the victims and also the parents is one of the things that are encouraging the perpetrators to continue.
There were presentations by different speakers on the causes, solutions, as well as mental trauma on violence against women and girls.
We have different types of violence. It can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be psychological.
Statistics shows that in every 6 people, 1 is having a problem of mental health problem, and then millions of adolescent girls in Nigeria are also suffering from mental illness.
Some of the students speak on the campaign.
They gave us some numbers to call for immediate care, and when we have problem, we can come out and talk about it, and they are going to help us.
The campaign is expected to cover all schools across the state. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Lydia in Abuja.
Many thanks, Sadia. Modalities to fast-track implementation of the Supplementary Act on enhancing the powers of the ECOWAS Parliament to ensure that at least 30% of parliamentary delegation is composed of women is central to the ongoing meeting of joint committees in Monrovia, Liberia. Onyegie Fine Face reports that Liberian President George Weah referenced the country's past female president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, as an example for African countries.
A colorful reception for members of parliament and delegates by a young female group set the tone for the opening of the ECOWAS Parliament meeting of Joint Committee on Social Affairs, Gender and Women Empowerment, Education, Science and Culture, as well as that of Health in Monrovia, Liberia. Speaker Sidi Mohammed Tunis pledged the commitment of the ECOWAS Parliament to prioritize gender equality and women's empowerment in the framework of the regional integration process.
We must remain aware that it is our responsibility as legislators and politicians to promote and protect legal and policy frameworks that not only prevent and combat all forms of discrimination against women, but also promote their empowerment.
I'm deeply dedicated and committed to the ideas of the empowerment of women in all aspects of our society, but particularly in leadership.
For the wife of the President of Liberia, Mrs. Claire Weah, the most pressing need on the road to women empowerment in Africa is a lasting solution to end all forms of violence against women and girls.
To ensure that every woman and every female in our region has access to all she needs to ensure that she fulfills her potential and contributes to the development of our society.
The ongoing meeting of the Joint Committee, with the support of experts, will enable members of Parliament to review the legal framework, compare their experiences and existing institutional systems in order to highlight the obstacles to women's empowerment and propose measures for implementation by Parliament and other institutions of ECOWAS. Onyegie Fine Face, NTA News.
We'll now go back to our earlier report, which I told you would bring in the course of the bulletin about the Federal Executive Council meeting on improving the services of the Nigerian customs. Take a look.
The Nigerian debt is still within sustainable limits. What we need to do, as I've said several times, is to improve our revenue to enhance our capacity to service not only our debt obligations, but to service the needs of running government on a day-to-day basis. So our debt, currently at about 23% to GDP, is at a very sustainable level. You can look at all the reports that you see from multilateral institutions. Those facts are stated to be so.
Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says it is untrue that 60 billion naira was printed to support March allocation to state by the Federation Account Allocation Committee. The minister, at the press briefing, says memos presented to the council by the Nigerian Customs were approved towards enhancing its operations.
The council approved the procurement of 427 operational vehicles for the Nigerian Customs Service operations in favor of various contractors in the combined sum of 14.55 billion naira, inclusive of 7.5% VAT, with a delivery period of 4 weeks. And there are several contractors.
Still on improvement of infrastructure, 532 million naira was approved for the Ministry of Education by the Council for the extension of the University of Ibadan Library, which the Minister of Information says it's long overdue. Minister of Information Lai Mohammed says all memos presented to the Council were approved. He also speaks on the town hall meeting held in Kaduna.
It was also agreed at that meeting, the concept was that yes, the call for political restructuring is okay, but call for secession or separation is not the answer to our problems.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo presided over the meeting in the absence of the president, and only 4 of the ministers were physically present, while others joined via Zoom. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Kenema Agbodike has sports update, which is next.